Greetings and salutations. This is Akirishin. I hope everyone is doing well and that you are going into the new year with lots of great plans that you will be very successful with. For me, right this moment, I plan to feature the Seafang F.32 Multirole British fighter. This aircraft is one of my favorites. First of all, it just looks great. I love the canopy on the top. I really like the double propeller system. And look at those rockets. Those look fantastic. Along with the cannons. It just looks like a beast. Very good looking aircraft. And a lot of fun to fly. And it has been an often requested aircraft in terms of reviewing it because it is a premium aircraft. And so people sometimes wonder, is it worth getting? And I guess the short answer to that is absolutely. It's a great aircraft to have. It has 4 20mm Hispano autocannons with not very high damage per second, kind of on the low side, a medium plus rate of fire, and a very good effective firing range of 760 meters. Does have increased chance of critical hit, so that's great. In terms of rockets, it has 4 times rockets RP3GP, which do 1500 in damage, and a damage radius of 35 meters. Rockets are nice to have to take out anti-aircraft emplacements. Occasionally I have been able to down other aircraft with them, but boy, it's really hard to get those on an aircraft target. This aircraft has good maneuverability in horizontal turns. I'd like to get that higher, and therefore I have equipped the Control Surface Adjustment 3 for the 3% increase in turn maneuverability, and Lightweight Airframe 3 for the 3% maneuverability increase in all axes. With many of the fighters that I put those 2 upgrades on, it's kind of maybe a little overkill, but with this fighter, it really needs those. There are a few options that you could go with for the 3rd upgrade. I chose the improved radiator. This does have a very good boost. I want to say it's like 12 or 15 seconds. Somewhere in that range. I forget exactly what it is, but it's very generous. And so to kind of accentuate that, I've gone with improved radiator. You could go with the gyroscopic gun sight. Would not be a bad option. But on this particular build, I've gone with improved radiator. I have equipped the universal ammunition, which has an equal chance of fire and an equal chance of critical damage. Another, I think, very reasonable option would be either the high explosive ammunition or the high explosive incendiary ammunition, because it doesn't have a high rate of fire on the guns, but a medium plus rate of fire. So I could see those possibly working in terms of starting fires. I have chosen to go with automatic fire extinguisher. Many fighters indicate that the fighter often catches fire. This is not one of those. It just says low survivability, but it's always good to have that fire extinguisher. There is of course a non-premium version of that, but you have to activate that manually, and I just really like to concentrate on flying rather than having to remember to activate the fire extinguisher, which sometimes I get busy and forget to do. So it's having that as automatic to me is a nice feature. Same thing with automatic engine restarter and reinforced control surface. I went with just the standard version of that, which has a 90-second cooldown versus the 60-second offered by the gold version of that. But since that is activated manually regardless, I went with the non-gold version of that. So this aircraft is probably most effective in mid-altitude combat, as it indicates, destroying some ground targets, and it does do that, but I would say that it's not particularly fantastic at that. It is good though at taking down other aircraft. Stats wise, let's see here, get these all expanded. Optimal altitude is 1600 meters, so that is a medium altitude figure. Its optimal airspeed is 446 kilometers per hour, which, it's not a slow aircraft and it's certainly not a fast aircraft. I would say it would be more like a low medium speed aircraft. Definitely not, in my opinion, any type of zoom and boom aircraft. Pilot skills wise, I have gone with Aerobatics Expert for the increased maneuverability of 2% in all axes, and Aerodynamics Expert, which augments our lightweight airframe and control surface adjustment upgrades that we took. It increases the effect of those by 40%. So those two particular skills each increase maneuverability by 3%, so it would be 40% of that 3%. I'll let you do the math on that. I would like to get the Marksman 1 skill to decrease the dispersion of the forward-firing weapons by 5%. We do have wing-mounted weapons, so it can help the dispersion on those weapons, but I don't have an extra skill point for that. Once I get another skill point, I'll get out of Eagle-Eyed and switch it over to Marksman 1. All right. Paint schemes. Let's see, I believe you are looking at the desert. Yes, you are. This is the summer, winter, and the marine. So again, just a really good looking aircraft. I think probably the desert or maybe the summer are my favorite paint schemes on this aircraft. Okay, so let's go into a battle here and see how she does. Okay, so we have pulled the Alpine Gambit collision map, and we are going to head over to this garrison first, and then if we are able to, either go to the military base or to the air base. I'm not sure which. We'll have to play that by ear. Many times after we take this garrison, the enemy team is also swinging this way, so you know, if it's a sea of red, we may we may rethink that. Discretion sometimes being the better part of valor. Just look at those rockets and cannons. It's just really a nice looking aircraft.
Off we go.
So it's got a 15-second boost, which is very generous. And I do want to get to the first objective as soon as possible, so that I can, you know, take it out before the enemy gets there. But I don't want to use up that whole boost, so I will usually boost to where I have 10 seconds left, and then from there I will let it build back up, and then hit it again down to 10 seconds. Cannons do overheat, so shorter bursts. Boy, that flak is just eating us up. I don't know if we're going to get this aircraft before we die. Whew. And looks like we have some enemy aircraft up there. Let's see if we can finish this objective off before they get there. So this is what this aircraft is not really good at, is turning. It's a bit slow. Gotta use the flaps and the air brakes to help in the turn. And we did make it out of there with our capturing the garrison there, but we have pretty low health now. And folks, you've got to watch these aircraft here. I'm going to start diving right now and slowing down with the hopes that this guy is going to go right past us. And that's what he did.
We are losing the military base. There are too many enemy aircraft.
Do not go to head to head with these, especially if you're low health. Notice I just kind of did a little loop there, and that fellow went around, so I don't think we're going to make it because we're going to have somebody else on our tail, I think, but... So, let's see if we can finish this guy off before somebody gets us. Can't believe we're still alive, to be honest with you. Him finished off soon, we are not going to make it. Come on, die. I really want to kill you before I go. Alright, somehow we are still alive, folks. I do not know how. Let's get this guy before he kills our friendly. There we go. Alright, whew. A little intense. So we're going into that airfield there, which is a heal field, so we could heal up here if we needed to. The other good thing about those larger air bases is that you can get a different aircraft if you need to. Now, I kind of like to stick to one aircraft, but if you were in a situation, for example, where you just kept getting in these turn and burn dogfights and you had an aircraft that wasn't very maneuverable and you were getting clobbered every time, maybe you might want to grab your turn and burn fighter and take out that enemy target that's been focusing. I couldn't tell for sure, but I thought he might be coming right at us. So I thought I'd fire the rockets. What the heck? What else am I going to do, right? Might as well try. Get up there to that, so let's take this fellow out. Just have a rear gunner on that aircraft. And I will let our, I think we've got some damage here. So somebody wants us. That's that aircraft. Let's see if we can get him. Die, come on. Get him. Got him. You know, sometimes, you know, even though it looks like it's out of range because you don't see the health bar anymore, sometimes you can still get some rounds on the target. So it's worth trying. Try to take this plane out that's trying to get our friendly here. Anytime you see an enemy plane that is trying to take out a friendly, prioritize that aircraft. We are just shot to heck. Look at that tail. Got holes all in it. That's a story to tell when we get back at the air base, isn't it?
We cannot support you any longer. The storm is too heavy.
Yeah, I can't hit the broadside of a barn with those rockets.
Our military base is launching strikes on the enemy.
I generally don't fire rockets at aircraft unless like they're coming straight at me. If they're like coming straight at me, I will do that. A pilot is taking an injury here, that's why our medical is large. Go. Pretty good long range cannon, so which is really nice. Taking some hits here. Take this aircraft out. We've got some wing damage,
enemy force is attacking the military base.
Tail damage. Our mechanic is not going to be happy with this. And folks, that is it. We are out of this part of the war. Looks like we're in the lead right now. 3 sectors captured. Over 8,300 combat points right now. Almost maxed out our rank there.
Keep it up. Victory is almost ours.
I do like being able to watch other aircraft once I am out of the match. Kind of fun to see how other aircraft are performing. Yeah, these things right here, you know, you have a maneuverability edge on them, where they've got strong firepower. You do not want to go head to head with them. They're definitely something to be concerned about if they are targeting you.
Hang in there. The main thing now is to retain the initiative.
P-51 Mustang. You know, that and the, what is it, the P-47, I think are two of the most attractive American aircraft in World War II. Just really sharp looking aircraft. Now, if the Americans could have only had more attractive camo.
Victory is ours. We're waiting for your return.
Okay, so got our Flying Raider badge, #1 spot. Our grade result. And let's see how we did stats wise. Not sure how many aircraft we shot down. Usually you see that figure, but did not see that. Probably because we're a multi-role. Okay, so 11 aerial targets destroyed. Not too shabby. 3,900 plus in damaged aerial targets. $23,000 in XP. Thank you very much, with the free XP as well that you get from it being a premium aircraft, so that's nice to have. Flying start, effective fire, subjugator, and as we mentioned before, the Flying Raider badge. Okay, and see, we had one human pilot on each team here. You can tell which ones are the bots by the asterisk in front of their names. That's using a mod that I got from Dr. Sinister. If you just Google Dr. Sinister, War to Warplanes mods, you should be able to get to that. It's got other good mods. For example, it kind of, if you notice my aircraft, I'm kind of zoomed out from it a little bit, and that is part of that mod. There are other things you can get with it as well, like changing the color of the ammunition, the rounds as they head out to the target. So that can be nice. But it is a really nice feature to tell who are the bots and who are the human players. So this other human player, Friday, was flying the BV P210, fun aircraft. 5 aerial targets there. Did some damage to ground targets as well. So, But those bots can be effective, folks. I mean, you got a bot here that outplayed our human player, or at least scored it. Alright, so that is the Seafang, folks. It is a great aircraft. I super enjoy it. I think you will too. Definitely worth the purchase if you're on the fence on it and you're deciding whether to get it or not. Definitely worth the purchase. You know, one of the reasons I was attracted to this aircraft was that the Spitfire, the Supermarine Spitfire, has a version where the canopy is on top like this versus having it kind of built in where the frame comes up and the cockpit kind of goes into the frame. I like this more Mustang looking canopy on top of the airframe like this, and they do have Supermarine Spitfires that were made that way, but we don't seem to have any of those in the game. But the Seafang has that, so that's one of the reasons why I originally was attracted to this aircraft. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for viewing.